So we're up to over here in Ois Hay. The Rebbe explained that the elevation that a Yid elevates Baha'alois HaNeris, it starts off first that it's Nizgala, the higher level of the Neshama. Eventually you come to the Shodesh of the Neshama, which means you come to the Neshama the way the neshama is mushrash in atzmus, the way the neshama is still in the moyach ha'av. That's the second level of the pnimius, and we come through Zerubbabel, the avoida in lamata, the neshama comes down below. Then you reveal the etzem of the neshama. The two levels al ponai. First, you come to the pnimius of revealing the neshama while it's in biyad, the abba v'yira, and then you come to the higher level, in which is nizgala the etzem haneshama. The Rebbe now is going to explain that we are actually mamshich also in mitzvahs the same idea, because we're explaining now ba'alois chasaneris means bringing up the neshamas and bringing up the neshamas to their pnimius el pnei lo yilcha al ponai, to the level of pnimius. That's neshamas. Where do we elevate the neshama? The neshama all the ways into the level of pnimius, but the Rebbe explains now the same thing is true with mitzvahs. Yidden add to mitzvahs as well. Through the fact when a Yid does the mitzvah, and the mitzvah actually, as we said before, reveals in the person Abba V'Yira, which is higher, then the Yid is mamshich in the mitzvah from his etzem haneshama, which is the higher level of primis. Let's look inside. So the Rebbe explains here in Oisei. V'hinei, and behold, k'moi shel hapirush de bahaloischas haneres koyal and neshamas. Just like according to the explanation that we teach, bahaloischas haneres, what are you raising? What is haloischa? Is the neres that goes in the neshamas. That the neshamas are being raised to the higher level. And what is the main and the ultimate where they reach Iker ha'aliyah shalahem ugilu shorsham, their main elevation of the neshamas is revealing their root. Kimoi shehem mushroshes ba'atzvus, as neshamas are rooted in atzmus. That is the haloischa. That's where we're elevating them. That the root of the neshama is revealed. The root where? The root is sharsham ba'atzmus. That's the taich of neiris. Where do we elevate the neiris, the neshamas, to the level of atzmus to reveal the shoyrish of the neshama in atzmus? And the Rebbe is saying, al derech zeh, ugam lehapirush de bahaloischas haneiris koyi ala mitzvahs. He brought down from the Magid earlier that bahaloischas haneiris means that you bring up the mitzvahs, and he teaches that the yid is elevated together with the mitzvahs, bahaloischa es haneiris, that through the mitzvahs the person is mamshich ave v'yira, he said. So also according to the Peters, the bahaloischa haneiris koyala mitzvahs, that the neiris are the mitzvahs, kiner mitzvah v'torah, that's the mitzvahs. So the point is shahaliyah shalahem he What is baha'alotcha? Where do the mitzvahs go up? Shenimshach bahem meha'atzmus. That in the mitzvahs extend from atzmus. Just like the neshamas is revealed in them, the shoydesh from atzmus, the same thing is if the pirush is nedes mitzvahs, that within the mitzvahs is revealed their shoydesh from atzmus. How does that happen? Now, originally, the yid does the mitzvah, and then the mitzvah elevates the yid in the first step to give him the avavira. After the mitzvah raises the yid in turn ends up raising the mitzvah and brings the mitzvah to a higher level. Dal yidei she Yisrael mekaimim es ha-mitzvahs, through the yidden fulfilling the mitzvahs, shehashoyresh the neshamas Yisrael hu ba'atzmus. The root of neshamas Yisrael is an atzmus. They do the mitzvahs. The yidden who are rooted in atzmus. Mamshichim zeh gam b'ha-mitzvahs. They bring down their level, their root, their atzmus into the mitzvahs. But before we said, fakir ba'aloischas ha-neiros, that the neiros brings up the person. The zeshen is ba'er li'il. This that we explained earlier. Shal yidei kiyum ha-mitzvahs bo'im la'avavira. That through the fulfillment of the mitzvahs, we come to avavira. And that means that it's the mitzvahs that give it to the yid that is mekayim the mitzvahs, that he doesn't have it on his own. He gets a higher madrega. Hainu. So that means, according to this, that the mitzvahs are higher. Shaha mitzvahs hem l'maylo me'odam ha'mekaymom. They are higher than the person who fulfills them. V'hem mashpiyim bo sheyovo la'avavira. They give to the person that he should reach the level of avavira, which means the person gets a higher level than avavira that he can attain on his own. He gets it through the observance of the mitzvah. Avavira shalamayla mitam v'das. That's a love and a fear of Hashem, which is higher than reason and understanding, that the yid can't get it on itself. He has to get it through the mitzvah. She'ein b'yicholto lagi aleim al yidei avodah, which is his bonus. He's not able to get it in his own. Why? Because it's higher than tam v'das. How does he get it? He gets it through the mitzvah. V'nimshochim milmaylo al yidei ha-mitzvah. And they come through the mitzvahs. So here we're saying that the mitzvahs are higher than the person. But now we're trying to tell you that the yid, by doing the mitzvah, is mamshich atzmus in the mitzvahs, not that the mitzvah is elevating. So the Rebbe said what we explained before, in the beginning of the avodah. For the yid to start, he needs the mitzvahs to give him the higher level of avaviyir l'mayla mitavadas. After he reaches this avira, which that the darga horishoina the panai, that's the pnei, the first level. El mul pnei, the first level of pnei, pneumius hamenoira, the inner of the menorah, that is the level of the neshama, the way it's nimshach hareri moichab. After that, nizgalabai shoydesh haneshama k'may shemushreshev ba'atzvus. Then is revealed by the person the root of the neshama as its root in atzvus, a higher level, the ultimate. Darga hashniya de pnei ha-menorah. That's the second step before in the pnei ha-menorah. Bechinas anoich al ponai, which is on top of ponai, which is higher than the level of pnei ha-menorah. B'chinas alponei HaKadosh Baruch Hu das. And then, once the Yid gets to the higher level, so who gets him started? The mitzvahs. They give him the Abav Yid at the first level of Ponai. Once the Yid gets to the lower level, then he comes to the higher level. It's Mizgala the Shoyrish in Atzmus. And then he ends up giving it to the mitzvahs. And then he extend that level that has been revealed by the person, the Shoyrish in Atzmus, he gives it also to the mitzvahs. Our sages tell us, ala posik, Magi dvorov liyakov chukov u'mishpotov liyisrael. So it says that Hashem says his words to Yaakov and his chukim u'mishpotim to the Yidden. What does it mean? Meaning that the Eibishter does it. Why is it his chukim? Why is it his mishpotim? Because Mashahu Aisa Oimer Yisrael Lasis. What he does, he tells the Yidden to do. So in Magid Varov, it's what he's doing. That's what he tells them. How does the Eibishter do these mitzvahs that he told the Yid to do? That when a Yid does these mitzvahs by himself, then the Eibishter does the mitzvahs. So while the Eibishter told his mitzvahs to the Yidden, but it's when the Yid does the mitzvah, that is when Hashem sort of does, then it becomes his dvar, and he does the mitzvahs. Yidua pirush bazeh. Yidua pirush bazeh, it's known the explanation. Through the fact that they didn't do and fulfill the mitzvahs, al yidei ze goyrmim sha'kodesh baruch hu yasem mitzvahs edo. That way they cause that the Eibishter should do this mitzvahs. Bal derech hayadua b'negei l'Torah. Yidden bring Hashem to do the mitzvahs, and this is the higher level of the mitzvah that we're talking about, the level of the mushrash and atzmus from a Yid that comes to the mitzvahs. Derech hayadua b'negei l'Torah. Similar as the non-Torah. I mean, there's a concept over here which is a little bit strange. The mitzvah bring up the Yid, and then the Yid ends up bringing up the mitzvahs. Bringing up that the Atzmus does the mitzvahs is similar to like by Torah. The Torah starts off the process, and then the Yid adds to the Torah. The la'acharei sheYisrael miskashurin bi'oiraisa. After the Yidden tie themselves to Torah, val yoda b'kudsha b'richu, and then through the Torah to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So that means, how does a Yid connect to the Eibishter? Through Torah. So Torah is higher than the Yid, because Torah is the connecting piece that connects the Eibishter with the Yid. But after that connection takes place, Mizgala Sherish the Yisrael, but then is revealed the root of Yidden Shalamayla Ma'asherish the Torah, which is even higher than the root of Torah. Yidden are connected to the Eibishter, even higher than Torah. So to Chatchila connect, you need the Torah. But once you connect, then is revealed the root of the Yidden, which is higher than the root of Torah. After it's revealed the root of the Yidden in the blessed Atzmus, then they bring down that level of Atzmus in Torah. Torah connects them to the Eibishter. Once they connect to the Eibishter, it's revealed their higher level, which is higher than Torah, and then they bring down the higher level into Torah. Same thing by the mitzvahs, we're saying. Hey, mamshich al derech David haya mechaber Torah shalamayla b'kudsha b'richu. Similar to what we said, that David would connect the Torah, which is above, with Hashem, meaning that David caused the Kudsha B'richu to connect with Torah, even though at the beginning of the process, the Torah connects to the Eibush, the Torah is the one that connects the Yidden to Kudsha B'richu. But then David once connected connected actually Torah to Kudsha B'richu because he revealed in the Torah, he gave him the higher source. And here the Rebbe says a tremendous, interesting interpretation. So before they said, so what is the pshat ba'aloischa es haneris? The way we learned, when you go up, that the neshama goes up together with the mitzvahs. Basically, we said the mitzvahs is Abba V'yira, and then the wording is the neshama goes up together with the mitzvahs. The understanding is the mitzvahs is the higher level, and the neshama goes along with the mitzvahs. When you elevate the mitzvahs, the yid goes along, the neshama goes along. The Rebbe is going to teach punkt fakert. Over here is going to teach together with the mitzvahs, meaning the mitzvahs are going to be elevated to the level of the shirish and neshama of the yid. Let's look inside. We can say, this is what the Maggid writes, brought down the Pirush Baha Loischa Es HaNeiris. Who im HaNeiris, the Ba'aloischa, that means with the Neiris. So he says, Ba'aloischa Es Atzmecha im HaMitzvahs, when you go up with the mitzvahs. So, go up with the mitzvahs. So what do we teach this? The mitzvahs go up. You go up with the mitzvahs. No. What does he mean? You go up with the mitzvahs, meaning that you bring up the mitzvahs. He brings the mitzvahs to the place where he himself goes up, which is Darga Hashniya de Pnei HaMenorah. That's the second level of Pnei HaMenorah. The Bechinas Al Ponai, higher, not the Al Ponai, which is higher than the first level of Ponai, which is L'chatchila Amul Pnei, the Pnei, the Bechinas Al Pnei. This is Al Ponai, which is high. Now the Rebbe gives a further understanding, because we interpreted before that the Yo'iru Shivas HaNeiris also applies to the 7 luminaries. We said first, Ba'aloischa Es HaNeiris, that goes up to Ponai. And Yo'iru Shivas HaNeiris, he said that's already the Bria, the creation, the world, the 7 luminaries, even though there's 2, but there's 7. The Rebbe says now that this elevation is also in the luminaries, that they also go up to a much higher level, to the level of Alponai, the higher level of Pnimis. Because according to the Taich now, Ba'aloischa Es HaNeiris Al Ponai. So the elevation of the mitzvahs, the elevation of the neshamas goes to the Ponai. But in the pasuk it says Yo'iru Shivas HaNeiris El Mul Pnei HaMenorah. It's the Pnei HaMenorah is for the 7 luminaries. The Rebbe is teaching now that even the Shivas HaNeiris go to the level of Pnimis. The Kamoy Shalif Pashas HaKosov, just as according to the simple meaning of the verse. El Mul Pnei HaMenorah Nimshach Lo'iru Shivas HaNeiris, towards the face of the Menorah, that follows, that continues, Yo'iru Shivas HaNeiris El Mul Pnei HaMenorah. The 7 neiris are going to the Pnei HaMenorah. Not as we were teaching, B'Pnimis Inyonim, is Ba'aloischa Es HaNeiris El Mul Pnei HaMenorah. The Yo'iru Shivas Al Derech Zeh B'Pnimis Inyonim. So we have to say it also similar to this as the inner meaning. El Mul Pnei HaMenorah Shekoi Al Bechinas Al Ponai. When we say Mul Pnei HaMenorah, that goes on the higher level of Al Ponai, Bo Behemshech. So this continues. In addition, Ba'aloischa Es HaNeiris Shekoi Al HaNeshamis. In addition, Ba'aloischa Es HaNeiris, the first part of the pasuk, as the Rebbe said in the Maimer, which goes on the neshamas, it also goes to the second part. Gam lo yiru shiva hasanedes. Also, the 7 natives, they too go to upon it. We talked about that. When the Yid's Avodah, that adds light into the luminaries. He brought al derech Sora hisifal hameidus. Similar to what we brought from the Medrash before, that Sora added to the luminaries when her light of Shabbos. So the same thing is your iru. When you elevate the neshama, you also elevate the Shivas Hanedus. And what level do we bring it to? When you're elevating it, in addition to filling in the lacking that took place, that the moon was diminished, so you're bringing it back and you're fulfilling your Iru Shivas Hanedus. Gam nasa behem toishves ilui, but also there is an additional advantage legabe dargosam relative to their level, as there were the 2 great luminaries. You're bringing them al upon mupne, you're making them higher, not only to correct their lacking, but you're making them even higher than they were originally created. They wash Nemeris Gagadolim, and you're bringing them al pona, you're bringing them al mupne, you're making them higher. How could we say the Eibishter, you're making higher? The Eibishter created the luminaries, and you're raising them to a higher level. The Hagam Sha'olam al Milu'ay Nivra. Although we say the world was created to its fullest, meaning in the wholesome way. B'kol Mokoim, Ayidei Avodas Ha'odom Nase Aliyah B'ha'olam L'mayla Yoser, that through the work, yes, the world is perfect, everything was created, but yet the person's service, he brings about Ya'iru Shivas Hanedus, he brings them Ba'olam L'mayla Yoser. Also, then they were in the beginning of creation. So not only do you fix the lackings that took place, the chisorin, but you bring them to a higher level. We're saying that through the avodah you elevate the mitzvahs. As Hanei, we touched before, im ha-mitzvahs, that the mitzvahs, you bring up the mitzvahs. And even the neshamas are elevated, which is even higher than mitzvahs. So if we can elevate mitzvahs and neshama, for sure we can elevate the world. For sure, Yeru Shivas Hanedus. The elevation is that the world became a dwelling place for him, blessed. Loi latzmuse, for Atzmus. Atzmus is now in this world through the avodah of the Yidden. That's your Iru Shivas Hanedus. You take the creation, the luminaries that the Eibishter created, and you bring it up to the higher level. Zion. Ayidei ha'avodah the baha'alotcha es hanedus gomer, and through the avodah gomer your Iru Shivas Hanedus b'chol inyonim d'leil. So you have the 7 natives in all matters we discussed before, elevating the neshamas, elevating the mitzvahs, elevating the world. Mekarvim umamarim es hayud. We bring close and we hasten the promise. The Laila kayem yoyer. The night will shine like the day. That talks about when Mashiach will come in the future. So there will be more light. Yoyiru Shivas Hanedus. B'geula hamitis v'ashlema idei Mashiach tzidkenu. In the true and complete redemption through a righteous Mashiach. V'gam lifnei zeh, and also beforehand. B'yomim ha'achreinim d'cheshech ha'golus. In the last days of the darkness of Golus. Yihel l'chol b'nei Yisrael erbe meshvesam. So there will be light to all the Yidden in their settlements. Yidei shakol echad yesif oir v'chayis ba'avedosei. For each person to add light, we're adding light in the Aveda, light and energy in the Aveda. B'zeh yimayir yosef. And this will hasten even quicker. Kiyum hayiyud the fulfillment of the promise, the night will shine like the day. Bebias Mashiach Tzidkenu, with the coming of our righteous Mashiach. Yovev Yigolenu, may he come and redeem us. V'yelechenu k'miyus l'artzenu, and lead us upright to our land. Shostia ha'aliyah. Then there will be bahaloischa, the elevation. In all aspects, in ultimate wholesomeness, inner and externally together. So the Rebbe brings down, now, before Mashiach comes, we need to already bring in the light, to hasten the light. So it should be Laila Kayim Yoir. And Yidden bring light wherever they are, and that hastens the Geula. And as the Rebbe said before, this mimer was published for Tezvav Sivan, Tavshim Mem Tez. And the Rebbe brings in a note, in the note over here, he said that this has a connection. This has a connection to the Tezvav Sivan. Tezvav Sivan was the day that the Rebbe was imprisoned. That was the beginning. Yud Beis Tammuz, Gimel Tammuz, Yud Beis Tammuz is when he came out from imprisonment and from exile. So the Rebbe brings down that this was in the Ha'ara later on. He brings down, it says in Ha'ara 40. I'm looking for it. So the Rebbe brings down Ha'ara 40 that was when the Frierdiker Rebbe became incarcerated. So after the Geula of Yud Beis Tammuz, it was revealed that actually the imprisonment was actually a sowing. The Rebbe did, because the Rebbe saw before Zerubbabel. So that way there will be the tremendous growth. Hafotzes Hamayones has spoken many times in the Sichas. So in the Maimed, the Rebbe spoke then. So this was all about the finding that in the destruction, in the Golus, actually through the Golus, we have the ability to bring about a lot more of the redemption. And that brings about the Bahaloischa as Haneres through the Zerubbabel, as the Rebbe explained before from the Likutei Torah. Okay, let's leave it over here, and we'll mamshich tomorrow.
Have a good day. Thank you.